We are the first Historical Preservation Committee of the Methodist Church. The three of us worked together to research the history of this church, and I have a story for you. One day, about 1913, Mr. Thomas Woodruff was walking down the street in La Junta, and he ran across Reverend Howard Golding. And he said, "Reverend, I understand that the Methodist Episcopals have sold their property at 4th and Santa Fe to the railroad company." And the Reverend said, "That's right, we did. And now we're looking for a place to build our new church." "Well," said Mr. Woodruff, "let me show you one of the places that I have." And he took the building committee to 7th and Santa Fe, and they were very interested in the property. And they nearly built their church there. But they went back, and after much discussion, they bought the lots here at 6th and San Juan. It took a little over a year to build the church, and at the dedication ceremony, Mr. Woodruff was there, and he said, "I'll give you $2,500 to help pay for the cost of this building if you can raise matching funds." The church membership was so impressed that they raised all the money that very day. Mr. Woodruff had one comment, and it was that he would like this church to always be a place to welcome community. And so today we've invited you here once again, and we're so glad you came. I think Mr. Woodruff would be pleased. The church was designed by W.F. Schrage of Kansas City. The builders were the Blankenship brothers of La Junta. Anytime a question came up about the architectural plans, Mr. Schrage got on the train in Kansas City and came right over to La Junta to solve the problem. The resulting product is this outstanding building which we are in right now. The current church leadership wanted this church building designated as a historic property because the building helps to document the history of La Junta. It is an inspirational and cultural place that has been well maintained so as to be useful for many years ahead. We submitted an application to History Colorado, and we are honored to receive the National Register of Historic Places, the Colorado State Register of Historic Properties, and La Junta's Local Register of Historical Places. An important reason for the historic designation is the Gothic Revival architecture of the church building and the Usonian architecture of the educational building. Both of the buildings were included in the designation, but for today we'll only talk about the church itself. Donna, I know that as you studied the architecture of the church, you learned a whole new vocabulary. I'd like to ask you about some of the terms that were included in our application.
Well, I can sit here and list out a whole bunch of architectural things if you want to go. Okay. But we're going to start with Gothic Revival is a 19th century architectural movement that was very popular, especially in rural areas, because a grand building like this served as a wonderful landmark. You could see the towers from wherever in that day. Dutch trees weren't that high. So, and this is especially true where the elements, such as castellated towers and pointed Gothic arches, became very recognizable in this landscape. It was popular for churches, public buildings, and homes, and evidenced in other buildings in our community and in the areas around us.
What were some of the elements used in this building?
Okay. I could go on forever, so that's why there's a script. Okay. Our church has towers, and if you'll notice the pictures as I talk about them, had with crenellated parapets and merlons. The tall windows had characteristic pointed arches with the hood molds across the top, sills, and while the smaller windows each have lintels and sills. Now these decorated elements provided a very practical element as well as protecting an element of decoration, as well as protecting the windows from rain as well. We also have very distinctive crenellated flat portico, which is the porch out here, with simple columns leading into the main entrance.
Please describe our towers in architectural terms.
Okay. Ours have crenellated design that features a series of alternating solid and open spaces along the top of a wall, which reminds us of a castle. That's why we go to castellated towers. They are designed to be a tall, symbolizing a connection between earth and heaven. Our towers are made of the same brick as the main body of the church, and this brick is called Turkey Creek Sandstone, and it came from a quarry that is now closed near Fort Carson.
Please describe the wide windows.
All right, so if you take a look at the windows in the back and the windows here, they're both separated. This one goes all the way outside, you can see the whole thing. But we have this one separated here. They, the glass used here matches all the other stained glass throughout the building. If you'll take a look around, as you walk around and see our beautiful building later. The windows were purchased from Ford Brothers Glass Company in Minneapolis, July 1914, and they made it by train without breaking. Along with inspiring symbolism, the colored glass fills our sanctuary with a glowing light that brings in the awe of the Holy Spirit.
Please describe the Gothic arches.
Our church building includes many pointed Gothic arches. They are found in the exterior windows and the concrete hood molds and sills. The towers have narrow louvered Gothic arched lancet windows, which you can see are the really very skinny ones that are on the tower. The building has arched windows with stained glass above each of the two entry doors, and more pointed Gothic arched stained glass and windows are found on the west and north gables. And if you look, there's arches throughout the rest of the windows that are as profound, but add to the element of the building.
The church, this church has a clever, modern feeling element that we appreciate often. Donna, will you tell us about these big rolling doors here?
Well, it takes 3 people to get it going. And we open them at the end of our service so that we can go freely back and forth. These windows, these doors, okay, I'll open it, sorry. Okay, architect Schreck included this element that was non-conventionally combined with the Gothic revival architecture. And this is pointed out to us by Damien that he was like, wow, you have these elements in a Gothic building. Gothic revival thought championed the craftsmanship and spiritual values of earlier times. These doors were valued for their space-saving efficiency. They're called tambour doors, and ours are made by the J.G. Wilson Manufacturing Company of New York. This pair in the sanctuary opened horizontally, and we have 8 more? 7 more throughout the building that open vertically. And they roll up inside a box that you see as part of the architectural building, and they disappeared into the woodwork. And these roll into each other at the ends of the building. The sanctuary, okay. An advertisement from the Wilson Manufacturing describes the doors as easy and instant subdivision of large rooms. Have every appearance and advantage of a solid, permanent wall, yet at will disappearing, folding into small space practically out of sight.
What are the other elements on the interior that are influenced by Gothic revival style?
As we stand here in this beautiful sanctuary, we can see definite design elements. Looking up, you can see that there's a coffered ceiling, which is graced by arches in the corners. Adornments include the floral medallions. There's 32 of them. And the corbels, which are in the corner of each of the 4 corners. The chancel is raised and recessed, and the choir sits behind an ornate chancel rail. The pipes for the organ, like Lynn said, are concealed behind a structure for them, and that was very very common for Gothic to hide the pipe organs. Ornate wood trim graced the chancel, doors, wood, and furniture.
Donna, Kelly Jo, and I were often wonderstruck with the history of our church. The architecture was just one aspect we included in our application to History Colorado. We wrote about some of the church activities and the individuals and groups that supported them. We told about the Sunday school history, the fundraisers to aid our community, and we described in words what the sound and inspiration of music in this sanctuary has meant to so many people. But mostly, we found evidence of what a loving set of people can build and sustain simply because we are invited by Christ to do so. Thank you.